You, you need to talk to strangers. Yes, I mean it. Talk to strangers. Because once you do, you're going to find they're not a stranger anymore. They're going to be an acquaintance at the least, and maybe just a friend. And that's what happened in my little circle and to me. But it took traveling halfway around the world and coming back before I could meet this friend. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Leslie, and you're at Lost in Wonder. And around here, we encourage women who maybe are a little bit weary, a little bit tired, disoriented, just struggling a bit. We want to help you blow on those embers. Yes, down inside, we know there's still life, there's still hope, there are still dreams. You just might need a little encouragement to get them revived. So we want to do that. As women who've been around the sun a few times, we see that as a great thing. You see, our vintage is our advantage. That's what we think, and that's what we believe and live here in Lost in Wonder, because we don't want you to get lost in despair. We want you to get lost in wonder at what God is up to in this world. Whether you believe in Him or not, I'm going to tell you, I do. And I have seen so many ways that He's worked in my life, and I need to share that with you. And so that's a big part of this channel, Lost in Wonder, at what He's up to, whether you believe it or not. Well, I got to tell you about a time when I believed that His hand was in all the details, because there's just too many to be coincidental. Let's get going. Talk to strangers. When's the last time you did that? Well, I do it all the time. I have lived and traveled and worked and gotten lost on 5 continents on this earth. And every time there's something about meeting the people that are surrounding me that I don't know, that could seem a little odd or strange or maybe unfriendly. And yet you'll be surprised once you greet them. Maybe a hola or a privyet or ohayou gozaimasu. You never know what just might happen. Wow. Have I convinced you yet? Have I? Have I? I hope. If I haven't, let me tell you a story that ended last night, at least so far. It ended last night, this chapter, with 3 friends sitting around a table eating Russian borscht. Yes, eating Russian borscht prepared by a Russian woman. My friend and I had just come in from kayaking on the lake with the same Russian woman, and the 3 of us returned to her home right nearby here to enjoy borscht she'd made the day before, because you gotta have it 2 days, or at least a day after you made it. It tastes better. Wow. This dear lady had done that for us. We didn't even know. We just planned to go kayaking. But how in the world did this all come together? This Russian woman, this not Russian woman, me, not Russian, 2 American women, and a Russian woman. It all started with me living in Russia, honestly. That's my take. Again, God's opening doors. I didn't want to go to Russia. I didn't think I'd like it, but the doors opened and I stepped through. And when I got there, a strange thing happened. A friend of mine, the one at dinner last night, who I'd known for years and years, told me something I'd never heard her say. She said, I've always wanted to go to Russia. Whoa, are you serious? I never heard you say that. Well, this is the time. I'm here. Come see me. Get that visa going. Let's kind of complicated, but we had time. She got it done. She came, and so amazing, because for this friend of mine who came to see me, well, first of all, she had to get time off work. She was working at a very nice resort where I used to work, and she had to get time off the front desk. It's a very busy place. There are restaurants, there's a spa, there's a golf course. It's beautiful, but it's very isolated. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, and that's where she lives, the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. Kind of like, look, like this. Well, so she did. And the other part of it was she hadn't traveled like this. My goodness, leaving the States to come to Russia, that seems so massive, right? Well, it was. And she hadn't traveled since she was in college, and she'd been doing some important things of helping her children to grow and become become wise and strong. And so that had been the last 20 or so years. Well, she did it and came to visit me, and she just blossomed. Her curiosity developed. Off she went, wondering about how to take the train by herself because I was working. How to wonder what's in that church. She went into a Russian Orthodox church. Then she got more confident that she could do this. She got courageous. She just kept the cycle going. That friend, oh my goodness, she did great. And so it was hard when it was time to say goodbye to her, but it was time. I needed to go back to work, and we took the taxi and got to Sheremetyevo, something like that, airport outside Moscow. And I had to say goodbye and hugged her, and you know how that goes. Bye, and I need a cappuccino. So I went, had a cappuccino and a yummy pastry and drowned my sorrows in having her leave. But before long, I got a text from her. Yeah, I was hoping it was a good news one. And it was. It was. She was fine. She'd made it to her gate. But she had a story. Now, she didn't text me all this, but let me tell you the story. She was at the gate and wanted to make sure it was the right gate. So she looked around, scanning faces. You know, meet a stranger, but be wise. And she spotted a woman that was just glowing, as she tells it. Beautiful lady sitting there. And so my friend went up to her and asked, "Flight to Washington, D.C.?" And the little Russian woman, da, 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 yes, yes. And so she had her sit there with her. And the Russian woman getting on the plane, talking to my friend, getting on the plane. And it was kind of hard. There wasn't a lot of common language, but they worked it out. And they started, of course, asking, "Where are you going?" and all that good stuff. Well, my friend said, I live a couple hours from DC. I live in a small town, and I work at a resort there. I work at the front desk, and that's where I'm headed back to. What about you? Of course, a lot slower, you know. And the little Russian woman, who didn't speak a lot of English, but had some, said, "Oh, I also go to small town. And my daughter, she works at a resort." Wow, interesting, right? Well, that's pretty nice. Well, what's the name of the resort? My friend asked her. "Oh, it is Bedford Springs. Yes, da da, Bedford Springs." What? Your daughter works at Bedford, the little tiny place in the middle of nowhere that I'm going to back to work at? What? They looked at each other right outside of Moscow, Russia. And these two women were traveling to within about 3 miles of each other back in the United States. And it didn't stop there because my friend here took this beautiful Russian lady under her wing, introduced her to friends, helped her get to a church. Both women loved Jesus, loved traveling, and loved each other and became great friends. And I didn't get to meet this lady until I came back here to visit a couple of years later. And by then, these two, they'd become great friends from strangers in an airport gate waiting to get on a plane. These two women, by God's mercy and miracles, are now dear friends, a few minutes apart, helping each other, loving each other, and just sharing this amazing story whenever they get a chance, because that's what we're made for. We are story makers, we're story livers, we're storytellers, and your story matters. Someone needs to hear, someone needs to be encouraged, challenged, shaken up, reminded that there is still a life to be lived, another step to take, another challenge to face. And that's why we say, don't get lost in fear. Don't get lost in panic. Don't get lost in despair. Please get lost in wonder. Check my book out. Look down below. There should be a link where I tell you all about and share with you stories all around the world. This one didn't even get in, but I tell you, it's a good one. lots of stories, lots of wonder, lots of reminders that you need to step out, that taking that extra little push towards something uncomfortable just might be what leads you to the next wonder. Unexpected things in your life are waiting for you to step towards them. And I will see you next time at Lost in Wonder.